In this video, we have the OnePlus N300 5G versus the Galaxy A13 5G. Stay tuned. Alright everyone, hopefully you guys are having a good day. Hopefully everyone is safe out there. We have the A13 5G on the right side and we have the N300 5G on the left side. We're going to be comparing the specifications and the features and everything else that I have experienced with these devices, and we're going to tell you which device I think you should pick up. So first and foremost, the A13 5G is a little bit older. It released at the tail end of 2021, December 2nd, and the N300 5G is going to be way newer, as you guys know. Released October 24th, 2022. Now, as far as these devices' prices, you can get both of these free with a port-in at Metro by T-Mobile, or you can obviously pay the retail prices as well, with the N300 5G being $229 and the Galaxy A13 5G having a variety of different prices on Amazon and eBay for renewed and new options. You guys will have to do your own research on that. Now, as far as the add-a-line or get a new number, the Galaxy A13 5G is going to be $19.99 at Metro by T-Mobile, and the N300 is going to be $39.99. Now, getting into the body of these devices, both these devices are going to have plastic sides, plastic backs, and glass fronts. It's not going to be anything crazy like Gorilla Glass 3 or anything, so we don't have anything crazy there. Both these devices are going to be IPS LCD, and both are going to have 90 Hertz refresh rates as well, as you guys can see right here. So pretty quick refresh rates on here. As far as the resolution, both these devices will also have 720p displays. However, I think the N300 5G does look a bit better. In my honest opinion, I think it does have more punchy colors on it. The A13 5G, it's not bad at all. I don't think it's a bad looking display, but I think the N300 looks better in my opinion. Now, as far as the platform on both these devices, the N300 5G is going to have a MediaTek Dimensity 810, which is a much better processor than the Dimensity 700 that we have on the A13 5G. So it is going to be a step up from last year's Galaxy A13 5G. Also, for our software, we're going to come standard with Android 12. With the A13, we upgraded from Android 11 to Android 12, and I believe both these devices are going to be equipped with Android 13 pretty soon, so both of them should get that. As far as our GPU, we both have a Mali G57 in these devices, so nothing has changed right there. And as far as our expanding storage, we can expand storage via micro SD card on both of these devices. Now, for the standard devices or the base devices, both of these are going to have the same RAM and storage at 64 gigabytes of ROM and 4 gigabytes of RAM. The A13 5G will, however, have options going from 4 to 6 gigabytes of RAM or 64 to 128 gigabytes of internal storage, so you guys can go ahead and spec that out. Obviously, the more storage or the more RAM, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but this one is the base device that I have, which is 4 and 64 gigabytes of internal. Getting to the cameras on these devices, and I'm sure you guys have seen both of these backs already, but I think the N300 5G looks a lot better than the A13 5G. Kind of a plain Jane phone with the A13, very reminiscent of the new S23 Ultra, where it's just the camera lenses right here. I don't think it looks bad. It's just very, very basic. I think the N300 offers a lot more as far as style and sophistication. But going into the cameras right here, we only have a dual camera setup on the N300 5G. We do have a 48 megapixel main, which is going to be our wide PDAF lens, and we do have our second 2 megapixel depth camera. On our Galaxy A13 5G, we have a 50 megapixel wide PDAF. Our secondary is going to be a 2 megapixel macro, and our third is going to be a 2 megapixel depth. So those are what our cameras are going to look like. As far as taking pictures and videos, I think the N300 5G and the A13 are pretty much matched. We are going to do a comparison on the camera alone because I don't have too much experience with the N300 so far, but from what I've seen, I think they're pretty much matched, to be quite honest. I don't think there's much of a difference between any of them. Now, as far as the video recording on the rear and the front facing camera, it is going to max out at 1080p 30 frames per second, but getting into the camera lenses, as you guys can see, they both are going to have that teardrop notch. So the N300 5G did not upgrade its style from the A13 5G, which is kind of weird because that is kind of a older design language. Kind of weird. Hopefully they change it on the N400, because even the N200 5G had that little hole punch on the left side of the phone. But anyways, getting into the front facing cameras, again, obviously max recording 1080p 30 frames per second, but both of these devices do have a wide angle camera. For the front facing camera, the N300 is going to be 16 megapixels and the A13 5G is going to be 5 megapixels. Now, as far as the speakers on these devices, the N300 5G is going to have much louder, much crisper speakers than the A13 5G, since it does have dual speakers, and A13 5G does not. So we don't have that on there, but both, however, do have a headphone jack. So always love to see that, and both as well USB 2.0 Type-C charging. We also both have NFC on these devices. They both have side-mounted fingerprint sensors, which I think have pretty much the same accuracy and quickness. So these are both actually going to be really, really good side-mounted fingerprint sensors. Some of the best, to be quite honest. They're really, really good. Very accurate for entry-level devices right here. And as far as their batteries, both are going to have a 5,000 milliamp battery, and both device batteries are actually really good. It's going to be all-day battery life for both of these devices, so I'm glad to see it. And as far as their charging rate, we do get a charger inside of the box on the N300 5G, and we don't with the Galaxy A13 5G, so kind of weird right there. But the A13 5G is going to have a 15-watt wired charge, and the N300 5G will have a 33-watt wired charge, so almost double the charging speed that the A13 5G does have. And of course, both these devices only come in one color, the N300 5G in Midnight Jade and the A13 5G in black, as you guys can see. Now, getting into the long-awaited Geekbench scores on these devices, the N300 5G is going to have a much bigger single-core score, 593, compared to 445 we see on the A13, and of course, almost 700 or actually 700 more points on the multi-core score than the A13 5G has at 1776, the date America was born. So as far as all of the features and everything on these devices and the prices and stuff, I would say the N300 5G is a much better buy. It's a newer device. We have newer software out of the gate on it, and we're most likely getting more support for security updates on this device as well. But you never know. I don't know. Samsung has some pretty good device security updates and all of that, but I think they're both going to be stuck at Android 13 once they get to that. But I would say the N300 5G from OnePlus is going to be the better phone to pick up, especially if you guys are going to be picking up a phone this holiday season for you, your spouse, or your kid. But yeah, I would pick the N300 5G over the A13. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys would do. I would love to know it. And if you guys have any questions, leave it and I will answer it to the best of my abilities in the comment section. But hopefully you guys have a good day. Again, this has been Safon from TechRight. Peace out, Tech Gang.